Hello, this is Gabe Heller, and welcome to SuperHotVR. Yeah, I'm having some trouble with the ninja stars. Took us a long time to figure out, maybe it was explained in the game, but I could not find it, how to actually throw stuff. So anyway, I'm playing SuperHotVR at my friend Ben's place. He's been trying to figure out how to set up a good VR setup in his apartment, though at this point, it's mainly for playing and not so much for recording, so we don't have my voice for this part yet. So yeah, I sliced the people's head off with the ninja star because I can't figure out how to throw it. And yeah, this is me trying really hard to throw a ninja star. You use, for those of you who might be trying to play the game, for some reason, pulling the trigger doesn't throw the object in your hand. I would think that it would. I would think that it might throw it straight so that you don't have to do the throwing motion. But instead, we eventually found out that it's pushing the pad with your thumb, the pad on top of the controller that throws things. Yeah, and that's me like, I can't grab the thing with my hand with the thing in it because I can't figure out how to throw the thing. Okay, so they're giving me a gun. Um, I had hoped to make this a non-gun playthrough, and I'm still hoping one day to do a non-gun playthrough of Superhot, but probably not Superhot VR. Turns out that they don't allow you to move. Um, it's all stand in one place and get the enemies that come after you. Very different from the non-VR game. And I found that a little disappointing. I tend to think that anybody who is interested in Superhot VR is probably not going to have the motion sickness problems, just because of the kind of people who that game would interest. Probably, oh yeah, they got me that time. People who enjoy Superhot to begin with are probably not going to be people who get motion sick very easily. I could be wrong about that. I'm not one of those people. My wife is. I already know she's not interested in Superhot, so that's my entire sample size right there. So feel free to contradict me in the comments. I would like to know if people who easily get motion sick are interested in Superhot. So yeah, I'm doing an awful lot of punching because I would like to punch. I see that arm coming in the frame, and I think it might be from somebody who's still alive, but no, it isn't. I don't think that Superhot VR is my game, not nearly as much as regular Superhot, so maybe I will just play regular Superhot. But everyone was raving about it, so I thought I would try it. The number of times that there are counters in front of you that you can lean down behind, you crouch down behind, or in this case, chairs, that aren't really there in real life. I tend to think you should play this game with like some piece of stable furniture in front of you that you can grab onto, so that you're not like constantly having to squat. I got quite uncomfortable having to squat down behind things in this game. I mean, having said that, I did have a lot of fun, and it was a fun game, but I don't think it's really my game. Um, I would have liked a lot more ninja stuff, a lot less guns. As far as I got in the game, there was no katana. I wanted the katana right away. Um, I wanted slashing weapons. It was very, it was just not particularly interesting to be constantly shooting. I'm not a person who enjoys shooters all that much. I've played them just because some of them were like the classic state-of-the-art video games of the day, but in general, shooters are not my big thing. Melee, I think, would have been more interesting. And so I'm trying my best to do melee here. I don't think there is a gun in this level. Also, that was where pretty soon here I'm going to like fall through the console trying to lean on the console that isn't there. Which was a problem I had quite a bit in Superhot VR. And now I'm going to spend probably about 2 minutes just trying to lure this guy around the side of the console and also trying to figure out how to throw things. Another thing I would have appreciated from Superhot VR was a way to record replays. They don't even show you replays, probably because of that same problem of, if you get motion sick quite easily, then seeing motion that is no longer under your control is one of the big things. At least that's one of the big things that sets my wife off. But that makes it really hard to, like, one of the coolest things about regular Superhot is seeing the replay of how you did it in full speed. I was thinking maybe I could try and use my duplicate frame filter on this footage, and I might try it yet. That you might find that that's what's at the end of this video. But given that you can turn your head without time moving, that it's not going to be particularly accurate as far as like actual representation of time. Hello, guy. Hello. I am an ashtray. I hear you like to shoot ashtrays. What are you doing, sir? Are you still alive? Have you run out of... No, you have not run out of bullets. We thought this guy might run out of bullets. Ben was telling me he might run out of bullets, but I believe they all have infinite ammo, which means I don't know when he's ever going to come around the corner. Here's me waving my arms to try and make time pass. It doesn't seem to be making time pass very fast, but I can't, to be honest, I can't really tell what quite is going on with the game at this point. He's shooting at my legs a lot, not at my head or my chest, and then suddenly he is shooting at my head. I managed to dodge that one. I'm still trying to throw things with the trigger, and it's not working. Given that the trigger doesn't do anything else, I don't see why the trigger should not throw objects. This could be a one-button game. I don't see why it has to be a two-button game. Hey, I finally figured out how to do it. Just press the thing that doesn't even feel like a button. It's like a mouse pad, trackpad kind of thing. But my aim is off because I have not figured out how to do it right. Maybe, in fact, you just press the button and things fly straight forward. That's what I would hope. In real life, I rely an awful lot on tactile sensation for when to release objects that I throw. And given that I don't have any tactile sensations of the objects that I'm throwing, it makes it really hard for me to decide when to release them. I thought I hadn't killed him because I just shot his arm, so I keep shooting him, and then this happens. Okay. We all had a bit of a laugh at that. Okay. So, I could have maybe beat him to the gun, but I decided instead to just hold the bottle in front of his gun. The problem is that when I'm holding the bottle in front of his gun, I'm not moving. Eventually I figure out I can move my other hand. There we go. Get his gun. Ta-da. Oh no, somebody else with a gun. And I'm doing a very bad job of leading him. It's hard to lead people when you can't actually see how fast they're moving, but I mean, that's kind of inherent to SuperHot. There's not much you can do about that. If you would, oh, yeah, and I figured out that you could dual-wield guns. This was, I think, probably the coolest moment when I figured out that you could dual-wield guns. I just wanted to look around at the environment because I hadn't spent a lot of time looking around at it. It's interesting that it does look like super widescreen, fisheye, now, but to me at the time, it just looked normal. And I kind of missed the super wide fisheye thing. It was weird. Okay, so am I ready to play? I pick up the gun and I'm supposed to show my dedication. I haven't even started the game yet. So far this has just been the learn how to play segment. And I'm a little baffled. Also, when I eventually do try and fire the gun and it doesn't fire, and it says aim for the head, I couldn't actually read that on the screen that I was looking at the time. It shows up fine here, and that's nice, but I couldn't tell what it said. It had gone away so quickly that I was like, what did it say? In regular SuperHot, it's a long time before they ask you to do something like this, and you see it coming, kind of, and so it makes sense. But having it happen so early, it took me a while to figure out what they were going for. Let's see. I think I finally read the words, and I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to shoot myself in virtual reality. Okay, here we go. And now I'm inside my 90s hacker lair. I spent a lot of time looking around my 90s hacker lair. This is not unlike what my room actually looked like in the 90s. It's one of the reasons that I find SuperHot kind of intriguing. I even did have some 3D glasses back in the 90s. Or at least the early 2000s, some of the early ones. But I ran out of cash pretty quickly once 9/11 happened. People were not thinking about people in my profession doing anything really anymore. They were thinking about other things. And it was a while before I had a stable income, so That was the end of my VR for quite a while, even though it was just 3D glasses on a screen. Took me a while to figure out that, like, the keyboards don't do anything. You have to put the disc in. So here we put the disc in. It is loading. And now we put on our headset. I was assuming I'd have to put it on sooner. I think it's great that it kind of looks like it's made up of a bike helmet. I actually have a bike helmet that looks kind of like that. Alrighty, here we go. We're in the real game. We'll see how long I last. I was looking around and I was like, wait a minute, if I step on this glass, am I going to fall through? So I had to try that. And no, I do not fall through. Closing down. Okay, it's time for Uzis. Somebody is already firing at me, so I have to duck quickly to get out of the way of that bullet. Oh, hello. And there's somebody else somewhere. Oh, no, okay. Okay, so this is where there are just too many guns for me to deal with. I managed to get this gun from this guy. And then that one just gets me. I had a lot of trouble. It's a lot easier to see on this screen, but I think the resolution of the device that we're using made it really hard at the time for me to see who had guns, if they were any distance away from me. And it's really important, if you can't move at all, to know who has guns right away. I kind of think that, like, just in order to make up for the fact that you can't move, the game ought to highlight guns a little better when they're held by people far away. I mean, admittedly, you can see that gun really well right now, but I could not see it in the VR headset at the time. I had no idea that other guy had a gun. At this point, I find an Uzi under here, but once again, we should have put something in front of me for me to lean on in such circumstances, because I am not a person who does a lot of squats. Let's put it that way. I managed to shoot that guy without even seeing him. I'm having trouble turning around while I'm squatting, because I have nothing to lean on. But I seem to have managed it. Alrighty. And then I discover I can't grab with an empty gun. It's a bike shop. I didn't notice at the time it was a bike shop because there were so many red guys. This is just me mainly firing blindly. I think I might be turning my head so I can see above the table with one of my eyes. Fortunately, he didn't just, like, point his gun at my head. He kind of ran around with the thing first.
Hot. Super. Hot. Super.
Alrighty, and where are we now? Ah, yes. Whoa! I did not notice the dragon at the time. It was completely washed out. There's like a Chinese dragon there. I wonder if this is supposed to be Singapore? Alright, there's some Uzis, but I want to try the Ninja Stars, because we figured out how to throw things, so we'll see if I can throw things. Surprise, surprise, I can't. I don't know why I'm always aiming to the left. It feels to me like I'm aiming right at the guy, so I wonder if there's some calibration issue, or if it's just the fact that, like, I've never had very good hand-eye coordination. Oh, they shot the end of my gun. It's broken. So what do I do now? I am right-handed, but I am actually left-eyed, which means I need to close my left eye in order to have good aim. And of course, when I do that, the 3D effect of it just goes away. And that's the end of it. At this point, I was getting kind of stressed, and my knees were also hurting from squatting. So I decided, and we were out of time, so I decided that was where to end it for now. But if you want to see me play more SuperHot or SuperHotVR, please let me know in the comments. Bye for now.
Warning, warning, this video is almost over. Warning, warning, it's time to choose another one. This has gone on far too long, time to wake up and sing along. Warning, warning, this video is over now.